the big problems with the knife review community is knives have been around for a little bit, just completely get forgotten about. And there's some hidden gems. We're going to look at one of them today. Let's turn this around and take a look at a forgotten knife, the Revo Ness. Well, you heard me in the intro, and I think this knife, this Revo Ness, is a hidden gem. This is one of those knives that just kind of fell off the radar when after it came out. It first launched, I saw a couple people talk about it. Now this came from Jared over at Neves Knives. This thing is an incredible knife, and I got it back out because I had stuff out that, you know, I've got to send back to Jared, and I was like, you know what, I really need to get this back out and carry it for a few days and just do a quick update video on it because it is incredible. So this thing is done by Revo Knives. It's done a 14C28N. It is a very, very nicely done blade on this, full flat grind and 14C28N. And it's got this leaf style blade. Now this is a Nessmuk style blade, I guess is what it's called, with a very unique handle that I said looked like a cartoon club in the original video. But when you get it in hand, you're like, oh, now I know why the handle looks like that. So it's done with G10 handles. No, it's not, Mike. It's blue micarta in a liner lock fashion with a nice deep carry pocket clip. And I say this thing just screams through material. So I got it back out and I was cutting with it. It does need sharpen. I'm gonna have to touch this up before I send it to Jared. So I'm not gonna do like a paper cut test or anything on it. But the factory edge on this held up really well. It's done in a nice liner lock with a flipper that completely disappears into the handle because the handle shape is just built for that. It's got a unique look, but I gotta tell you, watch this. It just slams open. You've got this area back here where the liners are, where the scales are redacted back. So you've got access to your liner for a lanyard hole. And they've cleaned those holes up so it's not sharp. It's not going to screw up your lanyard. The pocket clip is reversible, and they did a really good job milling that out so that pocket clip will not move. That's been one of my complaints on some of these deep carry pocket clips, is that they let them just surface mount, and then they have a tendency to wiggle around on the scales. The scales are textured, but it's not just for show. That gives you a very good tactile feel on that. The handles on it have not been finished to the point where they feel slick. The micarta on it is nice and it's still grippy, but it's also not too coarse. So they did a really good job of managing that. There is weight reduction inside the liners, which means that this is a fairly large knife that is not too heavy. I'll put a spec sheet up here so you guys can see the overall specs on it. But this thing is just really a nice outdoor style knife folder. Like I said, running on bearings, it's a solid knife. But what you've got is this incredible comfort in hand when you're cutting. They did just the right amount of removal here to make it thin for your fingers and thumb to pinch in on, but then the rest of your hand to really grip. And then if you do need to do something else with this, you can get your whole hand up in here and have that grip. If you're doing, say you're scraping a skin or something like that, or if you're trying to get some detail work for skinning an animal. This is just an incredible all-around knife. There are a couple things wrong that I don't like with it. I'm not gonna say wrong. There's a couple things here and there that I don't like with it. So far, I've had this here for a while and I've been really impressed with it, but we will do a quick flip side of the story, flip side of the knife, just in case you guys haven't seen the other video. So let's go ahead and do that. So very little things I don't like about it. While I do like the idea of redacting those scales back so it's a little bit thinner and it's easier to get your lanyard through, and when your lanyard is laying flat, it doesn't affect the grip. So when you have a lanyard on this, it's down below, so it lays a little flatter, and then you don't have the lanyard sticking up above the scale so you feel it in hand. The problem I have with it is that without a lanyard on it, I feel it in hand. It's not super sharp. It's just not, I would prefer to have a post or have an option where I didn't have that. I think the handles would be more comfortable for me if they came all the way down. The lack of screws in this is an outdoor knife. You're gonna get stuff down in there. It's gonna make it harder for you to clean that up. Just a couple screws in there to hold the spot for the screws that are gonna go in here would have been a nice little addition. Balance, for me, the balance is a little tail heavy. Even though it's really comfortable in the cut, I like a bit more weight forward. It does have a nice weight. It's not too heavy, even though it's a rather large knife, not too bad. I just wish that the weight was a little bit forward. The pocket clip. The pocket clip is a little proud right here, and you definitely can feel it in hand. It's not horrible, but it's definitely something that I would not have wanted that to come up that high. And I think that it's a little thick for that clip because on top of that, there's a lot of tension on that. So thicker pants, a little bit more problematic to get in and out of like a set of 511s. And then the final thing is, I understand why they did it. I talked to the owner of the company. I talked with the folks that designed it. That is so that when you're wearing gloves, you still have access to a lock bar. But the jimping on that lock bar is very, very sharp. The majority of people that are going to carry this knife are not going to be carrying it in the woods, even though that's basically what this knife was meant for. So with all that being said, yeah, still a hidden gem. Absolutely love this knife. If you haven't checked one out, there'll be a link down below. I wish that the knife world would not just always focus on the new and the flash and the pop and the brand new stuff, and kind of make sure that great knives like this don't get overlooked. So is it a yup or not? It's a yup. Even after all this time, I could have found more things wrong with it if there were. Still love it. So there you go, guys. Let's turn this around and do some final thoughts. I'll send you out about your day. Yeah, guys, I do understand that knife reviewers pretty much got to try and do that whole, oh, I got to get the new and things like that. If you're trying to do it as a living, I did it for a while. I've moved into more, I want to look at stuff that I want to look at. And if you guys want to join me, that'd be great. So being able to bring out a knife that's been out for a little bit and did not get a lot of play is a lot of fun for me because it's a great knife. So if you want to check one out, I'll make sure there's a link down below. I absolutely will. The guys that I talked to from the company were great. It's a great knife. So there you go, guys. You know how to support the channel. Thumbs up, thumbs down, drop a comment, share it. Make sure you're subscribed. Go down, check out all the links down below. Coffee Brand Coffee, Temper Trail have discounts built in. Amazon is a store that I have that you can do all your shopping through. Amazon supports the channel, doesn't cost you anything extra at checkout. And if you're gonna buy knives, the affiliate links down there do not cost you anything extra. So you can just find the knives you want to buy and support the channel that way. I've got a membership down below, bunch of benefits, giveaways, exclusive content, premium sharpening tutorial series, and a private Discord. And I have a public Discord. Guys, that's it on this one. I love you all. Keep it clean in the comments section. If it's your birthday, happy birthday. I'll see you in the next video.